Hello students, in this video we are going to study the keywords and textbook solution for chapter number 4. The chapter name is Materials, Metals and Non-Metals. Class 8, Subject Science, NCERT. So before starting that, let me recall what we had learned in this chapter. So in the starting, we had seen some examples of metals and non-metals. In that we had seen that iron, copper, aluminium, nickel, zinc, gold and silver, etc. are metals. Other than this, sodium, potassium, magnesium and calcium are also metals. Then after we had seen some examples of non-metals. So in that carbon, sulfur and phosphorus etc. are solid non-metals, whereas oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen etc. are gaseous non-metals. Then after we had seen some physical properties of metals and non-metals. So in first physical properties of metals, we had seen first property is malleability. That means metals can be hammered into thin sheets. That means metals are malleable. The next property of metal is conductivity. So the metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. The next property is ductility. So metals can be drawn into thin wires, so that we can say that metals are ductile. Next property we had seen that metals can produce ringing sound when they are beaten. That means metals are sonorous. The next property, that is metals have shiny surface, or you can say metals are lustrous. And in the last physical property, we had seen that metals are hard. So these are some of the physical properties of metals. In the last property, that is metals are hard, some exceptions are also there, that is with sodium, potassium and lead. These are the metals, however they are soft enough that you can cut them with even knife also. Then we had seen some physical properties of non-metals. So non-metals break into pieces on hammering them. The next property about conductivity, so non-metals are bad conductors of heat and electricity. One exception is also there, that is with graphite. Graphite is non-metal, however it is a good conductor of electricity. The next physical property of non-metal is they cannot be drawn into thin wires. You cannot make thin wires from the non-metallic materials. The next property is non-metals are non-sonorous. That means they cannot produce ringing sound when they are beaten. Last physical property of non-metal is they are soft and dull in appearance. So these are the physical properties of non-metals. Next, then after we had seen in the chapter, that is chemical properties of metals and non-metals. So in the first chemical properties of metal, we had seen reaction with oxygen. So metals react with oxygen to form metallic oxide, which are basic in nature. Then after we had seen the reaction with water. So metals react with water slowly, but some exceptions are also there, that is sodium metal that react vigorously with water. So that's why we are storing this metal in kerosene to prevent the exposure to the water. Next is metals react with acid to liberate, or you can say to release, hydrogen gas with pop sound. But copper does not react with dilute hydrochloric acid. So that is exception. Next chemical property of metal is metal react with base to produce hydrogen gas. So these are some of the chemical properties of metals. Then we had seen chemical properties of non-metals. So non-metals react with oxygen to form non-metallic oxides, and they are acidic in nature. And generally non-metals do not react with water. Another property we had seen that about phosphorus. So phosphorus reacts with air and it catches fire if it exposed to the air. So phosphorus is always stored in water to avoid the contact with air. And at last, generally non-metals do not react with acid. So these are the chemical properties of non-metallic substance or non-metallic materials. Then we had seen displacement reaction. So a more reactive metal displaces, or you can say replaces, the less reactive metal from its salt solution. So this process or this reaction is called displacement reaction. Then we had also seen the reactivity series, which is only for your information, that reactivity series of metals in descending order is like potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, then after aluminium, next is zinc, then iron, next is lead, then copper, mercury, silver and gold, in which the potassium has the reactivity, highest reactivity, and the gold has the lowest reactivity. Then after we had seen uses of metals and non-metals. So in the uses of metals, these metals can be used in making cooking utensils, water boilers, machineries, automobiles and industrial gadgets. And in the uses of non-metals, we had seen that non-metals are very widely used and respiratory actions, fertilizers, pesticides, explosives, crackers, water purifications. In some of these are some of the uses or examples of the uses of non-metallic substance. So these are the things we had learned in this chapter. Now we will see the keywords of this chapter, which is given to you at the last of this chapter. So first word is atom. So the smallest part of the substance, and that cannot be divided into its simpler form, so that part is known as the atom, and it is the fundamental component of any element. So the smallest part of any substance is known as the atom. The next is conductor. So the substance that allows heat and electricity to pass is called a conductor, or that substance is known as the conductor, good conductor of heat and electricity. The next is displacement reaction. So a reaction in which the reactive metal displaces the less reactive metal from its solution of salt. So this process or reaction is known as the displacement reaction, in which the more reactive metal replace or displace the less reactive metal from its salt solution. Next is ductility. So the property of metals by which they can be drawn into thin wires, or we can make thin wires from that metal. So that property is known as the ductility. Next is elements. So the substance formed by the mass or large number of molecules is called the elements. So before that, what is molecule? So the fundamental component of any compound which is formed by the combination of two or more than two atoms is known as the molecule. And the substance which is formed by the mass identical or same molecule is known as the element. Next is hardness. So the metal elements are hard, or or they do not break on hammering. What is hardness that we had seen in the chapter? Then if you will scratch the metal with the key or with sharp object, you will find the scratches on them, or you cannot cut them easily. So that is the property of metals, that is hardness. Next is malleability. So the property of metals by which they can be hammered or beaten into thin sheets is known as the malleability. Next keyword is metals. So the elements which have properties like strength, lustrous, malleable, ductile, so those kind of elements are known as the metals. So these are some of the properties, physical properties by which we can define any metals. Next is metalloids. So the materials that show the properties of both metals and non-metals, so that are known as the metalloids. These kind of elements have the both properties of the both metals and non-metals. Boron, germanium, silicon, antimony and arsenic. These are some of the examples of metalloids which has the property of both metals and non-metals. Next is non-metals. So the elements which have properties like soft, brittle, that means you can break them easily, non-lustrous, non-sonorous and poor conductors of heat and electricity, called as non-metals. These are some of the physical properties of non-metals by which we can define any substance as non-metals. Next is sonorous. So the property of metals to produce a ringing sound when struck by any object is known as the sonorous. So these are the keywords for this chapter. Now let me start the solution of this chapter, textbook solution for this chapter. So here first question for this chapter is, which of the following can be beaten into thin sheets? You have to choose the correct answer from which we can beat from the which given option we can beat the substance into thin sheets. The options are zinc, phosphorus, sulfur and oxygen. So here the answer is also given to you, that is zinc. Zinc is a metal and metal has the property of malleability. That means it can be converted into thin sheets by beating them. And rest of the options, that is phosphorus, sulfur and oxygen, so those options are examples of non-metals. So here your answer is option A, zinc. Next question number 2 is, which of the following statement is correct? The options are, all metals are ductile. Next option B is, all metals are ductile. C, generally metals are ductile. And option D, some non-metals are ductile. So here your answer is option C, generally metals are ductile. Why? So why all the metals are not ductile? So mercury, it is also a metal, is a liquid it's in a liquid state at the room temperature, and it cannot be drawn into thin wires. We cannot make the thin wires from the mercury. So therefore it is non-ductile. So here our option A, that is all metals are ductile, is incorrect, because there is one exception with mercury. And not a single non-metal is ductile. That means non-metal substances are not ductile. So that's why option B and D, that is all non-metals are ductile and some non-metals are ductile, are incorrect. So here our answer is option C, generally metals are ductile. Next question number 3 is, fill in the blanks. In that first one is, phosphorus is very blank non-metal. So here the answer is given to you, phosphorus is very reactive non-metal. Next is metals are blank conductors of heat and blank. So the metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. electricity, electricity. So metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. Next is iron is blank reactive than copper. So iron is more reactive than copper, and that's why we had seen that iron can displace the copper from its salt solution. Next, last blank is metals react with acids to produce blank gas. While reaction with acids of metals, it releases which gas? So they releases hydrogen gas. So metals react with acids to produce hydrogen gas. So these are the answers for your blanks. Now next question number 4 is true or false. Write true or false. In that first one is generally non-metals react with acids. So here the answer is given to you. Answer is false. Generally metals react with acids and releases hydrogen gas, not non-metals. So here your answer is false. Next, second number B. Sodium is a very reactive metal. So here your answer is true. Sodium, other than this, potassium and calcium are also very reactive metals. So here your answer is true. Next, third number, copper displaces zinc from zinc sulfate solution. So your answer is false. The reactivity of zinc is higher or more than the copper. So that's why copper cannot displace zinc from the zinc sulfate solution. Instead of that, zinc can replace the copper from the copper sulfate solution. So here your answer is false. Last one is coal can be drawn into thin wires. So here your answer is false. Have you seen ever the wires made up of coal? No. So your answer is false. Coal is a non-metallic substance and so it is not ductile. We cannot make the wires from this. So here the answers of the true false are given to you. Next question is question number 5. Some properties are listed in the following table and we have to distinguish between metals and non-metals based on their properties. So the properties which are given to you, that is appearance, hardness, malleability, ductility, heat conduction and conduction of electricity, and we have to write for metals and non-metals. So now let me see the answer. So here the answer for this question is given to you. First property is appearance. So metals are lustrous in appearance whereas non-metals are dull in appearance. Next is hardness. So metals are hard whereas non-metals are soft. Next property is malleability. So metals are malleable and non-metals are non-malleable. Next is ductility. So metals are ductile whereas non-metals are non-ductile. Next is heat conduction. So metals are good conductors of heat whereas non-metals are bad or poor conductors of heat. Last one is conduction of electricity. So metals are good conductor of electricity whereas non-metals are bad conductors of electricity. But there is one exception with the graphite that we had already seen, that graphite is a form of carbon which is non-metal, however it is the good conductor of electricity. Same here for the hardness. Metals are hard generally but except with sodium, potassium and lead. So these are the properties of metals and non-metals. Now next question, question number 6, that is give the reasons for the following. In that first one is aluminium foils are used to wrap food items. Why we are using aluminum foils to wrap the food items? So here the answer is given to you that aluminum foils are used to wrap the food items because the aluminum is highly malleable. As we had seen, the metals are malleable and aluminum is highly malleable. So we are using the aluminum foils to wrap the foods. Other than this, it can be beaten into thin sheets because of malleability and it does not react with food. So we can store the food or we can wrap the food in the aluminum foil. So this is the reason why we are using aluminum foils to wrap the food items. Next reason is for immersion rods for heating liquids are made up of metallic substance. Immersion rods, that means the rods which we are using in the heating process of liquids or in the immersion process in which we are dipping the rods into solution. So why we are making these rods with the metallic substance? So metals, as we had seen, are good conductors of heat and electricity, and therefore immersion rods of heating liquids are made up of metallic substance. They are good conductor of heat and electricity. That's why we are using them as the immersion, or we are using metallic substance as the immersion rod. Next reason is copper cannot displace zinc from its salt solution. So here this one we had seen already in the true false. So the reactivity of zinc is higher than copper, and only a metal of higher reactivity can displace a metal of lower reactivity from its solution, that we had seen in the displacement reaction. So copper cannot displace zinc from zinc sulfate solution. So this is why copper cannot displace zinc from the zinc solution. Last one is sodium and potassium are stored in kerosene. Why we are storing sodium and potassium in kerosene? So sodium and potassium are highly reactive metals, and they can catch fire easily even when they come in contact with air. If they are exposed to air, then they can catch the fire easily. So they have to be kept in the kerosene, or that's why we are storing them in the kerosene. So these are the reasons, answers for your reasons. Now next question number 7. Can you store lemon pickle in an aluminum utensil? Explain. So no, we cannot store lemon pickle in aluminum utensils as metals react with acid to liberate hydrogen gas. Reactions of metal with acid, it releases hydrogen gas, and lemon contains acid, that is citric acid. So that's why we cannot store the pickle into an aluminum utensil, and the pickle which is acidic in nature, they can be spoiled as the release of hydrogen gas. So that's why we cannot store, or we cannot, these aluminum utensils are unfit for the consumption of lemon pickle. Next question number 8 is matching. In the following table, some substances are given to you in column 1 and 2. Some uses are given in next column. So you have to match the column first and second. So here in the first column, it is given to you name of the different substance, that is gold, iron, aluminium, carbon, copper and mercury. In the next column, the uses is given to you, that is thermometers, electric wire, wrapping food, jewelry, machinery and fuel. So now we have to match the substance with their uses. So here the answer is given to you gold. So we are making jewelry from the gold. Next, the uses of iron is machinery. We are using, or in machinery, the different parts are made up of iron, that we had usually we are seeing. Next is aluminium. So as we had seen, aluminium foils are used to wrap the food, so wrapping food. Next is carbon. So we are using carbon as the fuel. Next one is copper. So we are making electric wires from the copper. And last one is mercury. So mercury, one use of mercury is it is used in the thermometers. So these are the uses of different substance which is given to you in column. Now next question, question number 9. What happen when here two reactions are given to you? That is, first one is dilute sulfuric acid is poured on a copper plate and iron nails are placed in copper sulfate solution. We have to write what happen when these two are react with each other, and we have to also write the word equations for this reaction. So here the first answer is given to you. When dilute sulfuric acid is poured on copper plate, so the copper does not react with dilute sulfuric acid. In the chapter explanation we had seen that what is dilute sulfuric acid. So the copper does not react with dilute sulfuric acid, and when concentrated sulfuric acid, that means the solution in which the amount of or the percentage of sulfuric acid is more, so that is known as the concentrated sulfuric acid. And when this kind of sulfuric acid is poured on a copper plate, so copper react with sulfuric acid and it liberates or it releases the hydrogen gas. Here the word equation is given to you, that is copper plus sulfuric acid, and as the product it will give you after the reaction, that is copper sulfate and hydrogen gas. So this is reaction. Here COPPER is there, and here it is shown to you that copper is represented by Cu, sulfuric acid that is H2SO4, and copper sulfate CuSO4, and hydrogen gas that is H2. So this is the reaction for this equation for this reaction. Next is iron nails are placed in copper sulfate solution. So as the reactivity of iron is more than the copper, so iron will replace the copper from the copper sulfate solution. So in this reaction, blue color of the copper sulfate fades, that means it will disappear and it will turn into green color. Iron will replace the copper from the copper sulfate solution. So here the equation is given to you, that is iron reacts with copper sulfate. Iron, that means Fe, it reacts with copper sulfate, that means CuSO4, and as a result it will give you iron sulfate, that is FeSO4, and copper, that is Cu. So this is the answers for this reaction. Next question number 10 is, Saloni took a piece of burning charcoal and collected the gas evolved in the test tube. So first we have to say, how will she find the nature of the gas which is released when she burn the charcoal, and write down word equation of all the reactions taking place in this process. So here the first one, answer for first question is given to you, that how she can find the nature of gas. So for that, add some water in the test tube in which the gas is collected, and then after now cover the test tube and shake it well, and then after you can test the solution with the blue litmus paper and red litmus paper. So you will notice that blue litmus paper turns red, so it shows that the nature of gas is acidic. So this is how she can find the nature of the gas. Next is the equation for the reaction which take place in this process. So charcoal when reacts with oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide gas. So charcoal, that means carbon C, it reacts with oxygen, that means O2, and as a result it will give you carbon dioxide, that is CO2. And other than this one, also another reaction take place over there, that is when we are adding water in the carbon dioxide, that is carbon dioxide, that means CO2 plus we are adding water, that means H2O. So as a result, it will give you carbonic acid. So this you do not have to write, but this reaction take place during this process, that is reaction of carbon dioxide and water. Next question number 11 is, one day Rita went to a jeweler shop with her mother, and her mother gave all gold jewelry to the goldsmith to polish. A person who polished the gold jewelries, so she gave the old gold jewelry to that person, and next day when they brought the jewelry back, they found that there was a slight loss in its weights. So can you suggest a reason for the loss in the weight? So yes, to polish a gold ornament, it is dipped in an acid, and it is known as the aqua regium. This is just for your information, that name of that liquid or acid. So to polish the gold ornament, they are dipped in the acid. So the outer layer of this gold dissolve in acid, and the inner shiny layer is visible. So because of loss of upper layer of jewelry, its weight is reduced and it will appear shiny. So this is the reason why there is the loss of weight in the jewelries. So here the textbook solution for the chapter number 4, that is materials, metals and non-metal, gets over. In the next video we will see further or extra exercise for this chapter. Thank you.